All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. I'm just doing this is going to be an overall view of what I should have made in the beginning. But as I was making it, I couldn't really do this because y'all didn't have nothing to go back by. You'll have to go back on some of these videos to see what it does and all that. But I'm going to try to explain how it works, why it works, and all that jazz is what I'm trying to get at. Here's the exhaust coming out, and I've had comments on, like it wouldn't, all bunch of weird stuff. Okay, it works. This is a proven concept. This is not nothing like new. There are a bunch of videos that prove that it works. Is what I'm trying to say. Let me get up here and see if I can't get inside. And right in here is that's all. I can't get it in there. Okay, is I fixed all the air infiltration like that was down in the bottom. There was a big. That was the reason why I broke this apart. Is I was cleaning out the ash one day and a big old wad of the. This is insulation concrete right here. This is not. This is refractory like in a forge, but this other stuff is insulation kind of concrete, and not the same. Not at all. It is but I was fixing the air infiltration from the bottom because a big chunk of that insulation fell out. Now the bottom of this section here, I don't know if I can get in there and see you down into it. But that's the where the fire is, or the gasification chamber, where it's the conical shape is turning all the heat back into itself, and so it just shreds the fuel. And at the top of this tank like this, there's two of them, and if you can imagine, the top of the tank has a 5-inch hole, and that's where this is sitting on top of, and that's 5-inch here, and what it's for is for the math for the air, and you can use anything. I just used surplus scrap junk that I found. I didn't buy none of this stuff new. Is But you can't afford stainless steel if you try to buy it new. I mean, this would be about $10,000-$15,000 stove. I mean, easy. But it's good enough. It'll heat your entire house. I mean, and do it well. I made a much smaller version of this with a cast iron. Let me back up here. With a cast iron wood stove, and it heated my kiln in Arkansas. Well, in what I'm trying to say is you would heat it up, you would overheat the concrete in the stove, and it was smaller than this, much smaller even. And this is going to be the size of a car when it's done. 3,700 pounds is what it'll weigh total. Somewhere, I think that's what I did on the math. But I say that, and I know I screwed up the math the first time, and I thought I got it right, so I'm going to hold back. I know how many bags of sand I've put into it, how many bags of the Portland I put into it, and I'll have it added up at the end. But it'll be somewhere between 2 on the low side. I know that's way too low. About 2,400 on the low side, about 3,600 on the high side, but somewhere in between that is what I'm trying to get at. When it's total, when it's all said and done, and and from here on out is the next casting. There's another piece that comes up above this. The fire chamber, this pot right here, sits down inside this well, and it only comes to about 10 inches above this, and that's also important, y'all. There's math involved, and you got to go back to the original videos for all that. Because can I just rattle it off? No, I'll rattle it wrong, and then somebody will bitch and all that. And I don't need the whiny complaints in the comments. But the bell right here, and that's the combustion chamber up in the top, and that's how this works. And when this stuff fell out in the bottom, that's why it was I when I was taking the one video and it was still pushing the air. I put the paper in front. I was saying this thing is pushing. It's not the draft from the thing, because with the missing piece on the air down there, from the exhaust, it was drafting exhaust. I'm just saying that this the dynamics of this, when this is sitting up another, like 16 inches, there's another one of these that sits on top, and that bell sits inside of it. And then this will all be backfilled with sand. Last time it was that insulating material. I'm going to try to get some of that out. If it looks like it's going to mess it up, I'm not going to mess with it no more. But get some of it out and then just sweep it out the exhaust. That was that oval that you saw right below. And right there, that oval over here that you're seeing is the exhaust pipe. But it all goes into that bottom of that bell and sweeps out. And but the pressure that's up here, because heat rises, and then there's the thermal pressure, so it's like an explosion going off with that added oxygen from the bottom side, like I said. And the oxygen that's coming in is, imagine that there's a bell here, but in the bell on the bottom on the firebox there's holes around the top, so that's superheated air coming up in like heat rises, eh? And so it comes up and in, but not to this. It comes up and into the bottom side of this. Into the bell of the firebox that's below. The air is coming into that right at the top of the chamber, so it's blasting. It's pulling hot air, or it's pulling. It really makes a howl, is what I'm trying to get at. Quite a unique howl, because this gets way over 1,000 degrees. I mean, in excess of. I've never had a laser temperature, but I'm just saying there was metal that lined that it completely crystallized. It just where you could crunch it with your hand. It just completely ruined the metal. And it was the same black metal as this. Okay. Now this is on the rebuild of it. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to take a scribe and come from the outside of the tank, and then a scribe and come from the inside of the metal, and then even it up. And I'll just put my next form in about 3 inches from this outside, and maybe not even 3, but I'm thinking 3. That's where I've been talking to myself. But to bring it in and then cast this intersection first, and then I'll have a shelf to put the hot water coils and all that kind of jazz, and enough room to put like a chicken wire, just one. It'll be the only reinforcement in the whole thing, because someday if you want to break it apart, it's 3,700 pounds or 2,400 pounds. I don't remember. I messed up the math. Let's go with 2,400. It's going to be 2,400 pounds, a small car, that if it's reinforced, you're never going to get it apart. So I learned that once with my other one, is what I'm trying to get at. If you ever want to ever move it, you don't want it to be solid. But could you make it solid? Oh, yeah. All you would have to do, let me back that out. All you'd have to do is anchor off the stove and put like J-bolts or anything like that into the concrete and strengthen the mix. That's another thing, is I didn't put near enough of the concrete into it deliberately so I could take it apart later. I'm not afraid of it cracking or anything like that. That's not it's just not one of my concerns, is what I'm trying to say. It will crack unless you reinforce it. Is the one I've had that heated the kiln, it cracked pretty bad. Nothing more than surface cracks, and you could hide it with tile. It didn't like continuously crack. It just cracked the first time, and that because I fired it way too hot, just like Rambo kind of, redneck, and I wasn't, consideration to the moisture content in the concrete, and it expanded and caused it to crack. But it wouldn't have cracked even as bad as it did had I not went dumb, is what I'm trying to get at. But I was only like 28, forgive me or sue me or whatever. But this is later on in life, and now we got it better, and I'll fire this with wood chips for the first little bit until I cook off all that moisture. But it will still crack because it's not reinforced. But could it have been? Yes. And would it have cracked? Never. For all them, like the purist or whatever they're out there. Okay, and how it worked was the bell sits on top, and let me pause this for a second, because I want to make this one video. Oh, man, come on, pause, dude. Okay, you're being bad. Wow, really? All right. It was being a little bit hateful, but we got it. There's the belt, and like I said, there's another. I don't know if I can't turn around y'all that far, but right there, I can see it right there, there by the white bucket. There's the other piece of the. Oh man, cramping. Oh yeah, I can't turn around that far. I'm old and fat. Oh wow, cramping again. There's another piece of this that goes just about like that. I mean, just over the top of this, and but the bell sits down. I'll show you that seal that it made down there. I don't know if I can show you that or not. Probably not, huh? But it seals that right on that rim, and now all this void right in here will all be backfilled with sand. I'll stack that the next piece on here, tape it, and then fill that void with sand is what I'm trying to get at, all the way up to here, and pack it in as best I can. Probably wet it down and drive it in with a little stick is what I'm trying to get at. Pack it in the best I can everywhere around there. And that way I know if anything fails in the stove, just like the first time. If the ash pan gets filled with anything, then this outer jacket has failed. And then I know it's time to take it apart. And everything can be taken apart from the top down, even after this is cast. This will all just be concrete. But this will still be sand and open, and I'm going to weld a nut on top of this can, or I've thought a bunch of different ways, but just make it so it's still removable from the top, however you can dream that up. But I was thinking about a nut, or like a big spanner wrench or something like that. I wish I could get backwards from this. I'm in the chair that doesn't know how to go backwards. It's a really good chair. I love the chair, but dang if this thing don't know how to go backwards. Not to save its life, y'all. But good chair other than that. I mean, great chair. And I couldn't live without it. It just doesn't know how to go backwards. Not in a straight line. It's steer by wire, so it just goes wherever it wants. But back on this. And I really don't want another chair, y'all. If anybody wants to donate something miraculous to my life, I want one of those electric bikes. Like, I don't know. I just know some names, and I don't even know if the bike is electric, but it's like Coyote or something like that. It's a four-wheel drive bike, and I want one so bad, and it's electric. But the ones I'm looking at have to be electric, so I can charge it with my solar. But back to this now. I'm done begging. But the top piece will be on there, backfilled with sand, and the quartz will transmit the heat into the concrete. The concrete thing will be out here to 3 inches. The copper coils will be around that. There will be about 150 foot of copper coil, 50-foot links. That was another thing that I learned in here that was way bad. It is, if you do anything, you don't want it more than 50 foot around that much heat. It's just too much. If the pumps even slow down, it starts to hammer. You got to have the pumps flowing full force all the time, or it's just too much heat. And when it was so close, it was actually cooling down the reaction inside the vessel, where it was got dirty. I mean, it shouldn't even have been as dirty as it is, but it's not like horribly dirty. I showed pictures of this pipe in still photos, but I've never been able to show it like this. And let's get up in here and see which side has the light on it right there. Now y'all get to see exactly how dirty that pipe is. And that's 3 years. It's used. Wait. It's been used upstairs for a couple years. And then it was taken out and then reused for this project. And it's been 3 years and never cleaned. I don't even know if it was cleaned upstairs, put it that way. It was just taken out, but not cleaned. But that's the pipe. And let me get this other one. Oh, if I can do it without falling off the chair. That would be awkward. Here we go. Okay. See if I can get this one here. And here's the other pipe, but I don't know if the camera can get down to the bottom. But that dust is just the dust. That's just the dust from Colorado. That's all that is. That's not like creosote or nothing like that. But you can see here the metal. There's nothing even built up on it. It's just dust from Colorado. All right, y'all. But that's how dirty it is after 3 years, and it was used pipe, so forgive it for any kind of old creosote buildup on it. And that was all old. I didn't want to waste any money if it wasn't going to work. You know, that's what it came down to. And now I put the new pipe in here, and I'll put new pipe outside. But what I'm going to probably do is, that's why, you know, it was always low, and then there was a piece that bent it up to get to there. But as I'm going to come out low, and what I thought about doing is making like a spiral or something different, weird, just to absorb more of the heat. And then instead of over here, because that's not the right angle, because the porch is in the way, it's not right now, is what I'm trying to say. Is I was thinking about moving it to this bay right here. And that would make it in the right angle for the flue that goes upstairs. But in one of these days, I didn't do it this time, but if I can and pause this one more time, I want to take and undo the elbow outside and show you up the exhaust pipe live right now from outside into this pipe. It'll be backwards into this one, and then up the flue pipe on the outside. So y'all get to see how clean it is after 3 years, and it's never been cleaned. So remember that it's never had a brush through it. So, okay, give me a second, and I'm going to try this one more time. All right, we are back one more time, and I got it off, not open. So what we expect to see is just that dust, a little crap, I'm sure. But not nothing more than that, y'all, is what I'm trying to say. And more like burnt concrete kind of crap, not creosote kind of crap. But we'll see what we got. Taking this off. There we go. Oops. Okay, that's all the particulate. That's 3 years worth, is what I'm saying. Now the stove is clean as you can get. Okay, I don't know. Oh, here, wait. There we go. And see this. Is that the camera? Yeah, it is. You can see there's crud there at the bottom. It's not on the top of the pipe. It's just what's fallen out by weight, like dirt. Here we go. Here's a section of it right there. You can literally see the dirt inside the ash. But that's just Colorado, y'all. You can't blame it for that. Let's see if I can't get this camera turned upright. The camera, or the thing, is on. Let's see if we can't go right up the pipe here. I can't see it, so bother. And it rained last night, so I got to get on the ground. This is karma. No, it's not. It's good. I'm just teasing. I can't even lift the silly footrest with my other foot. You know your legs are getting weaker when. Okay. Give me a second to get down there. Okay. Ooh, Okay. Okay, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, and then up the pipe we're gonna look. There we go, y'all. I don't know if you can see that up the pipe. Okay, come on. Maybe I can turn off that light. No, that ain't it. Well, shoot. There's a 6-inch hole. Is up on the sides of the pipe in places. There's the screws that go through from the outside, and they've caught just a little bit of crud. But other than that, that pipe is perfectly clean all the way up and out. And this pipe, let's get in here. Oh, yeah. It was only where it dropped down it caught it, is what it was. But it's not actually dirty. I don't know if you can see that up in there or not. But like the seam, they just like dust on the seam. It's clean. But there was some fallout in the stuff, like the dust and dirt that gets sucked up in. and it burnt up all that concrete. That had to go somewhere is what I'm trying to get at, and that's more than likely right there. But that's as dirty as the system is, and dirty as the pipe is. I wish this thing could go. That zoomed up. How about shut off the light? Yeah, there we go. How about that, y'all? Not really. That's 6 inches all the way up. It's pretty. I mean, it's clean all the way up and in. And the pipe has like a kink to it. There's maybe a 1 inch kink about halfway up. It's not perfectly straight, is what I'm trying to say. That's not nothing hanging off the pipe or nothing. And it's over here on this. On this side over here. There's like a 1 inch. It's just kinked a little bit. So, all right, guys, I'm up and out of here again. And remember that this was, let's turn that light back on. This was used pipe. This is not the creosote from this one. I'm almost positive. This was used when I put it in. It was just repurposed for this project is all. As a way for the air to slow down enough for all the heavies to drop out, in which it does because it's not dirty up in the chimney either. Okay. The gasification video is done. I hope you liked it. If you do, please share this kind of junk, the hemp stuff, not my other personal diary jazz, but the hemp stuff and the gasification stuff, because it is a better way. It's better. So, all right, talk to you then.